Welcome to the Shaping Portsmouth podcast. Shaping Portsmouth is a collaboration of key Portsmouth businesses transforming Portsmouth together. Hello everyone, welcome to the first Shaping podcast. I'm Dave Humphries, CEO, and I'm joined today by our ops team, Steff, Kirsty and Marian. Hello everyone.
Yay.
Hello.
Hello.
Cool. So we thought that this very first podcast would be a good opportunity to introduce everyone to some of the team. We've picked our ops team today. I'll start with Marianne because out of all of us, you're the person that's been with Shaping Portsmouth the longest.
That is true. Wow, that's actually true.
It is. So, Marianne, tell us a little bit about yourself and your role.
Okay, so hi, Marian Glover, and I am the business pillar coordinator. That's my official title, right?
Business pillar lead.
Business pillar lead. That's what I am. So I basically manage the programs that we have under our business pillar. About myself, I'm going to say random hobbies now. I enjoy walking around. I enjoy going on long walks. I enjoy watching movies. I enjoy just being around family, and I love the team. Yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
Okay, so any astute listener might notice a slight accent.
Yes.
So you're not from
I am
here
not
originally?
No, I'm not from here.
You're
I'm
not
from
a Portsmouth girl?
a country in Africa. So I'm Nigerian. I'm Lagosian. So I'm from Nigeria, from Lagos State in Nigeria, which is the capital economic territory of the country. So yes, that's who I am.
So how did you end up in Portsmouth?
I came... Okay. So I moved to the UK to do my master's. So when I was looking for schools to do my master's and the course that I actually wanted to study, which was something I had to do with business and the digital economy, basically, I was looking up schools, universities, and I found University of Portsmouth. So I applied and was accepted, and then I moved to the UK, came to Portsmouth, and I fell in love with the city. I love taking long walks along the seafront, and I just love the city. I love the people here. They're so nice. I know that people say that because I've been to other countries as well. But people here, I found that they're really, really kind and nice people. So yes, that's how I found myself here, and that's why I've stayed.
Cool. And that's what we want. That is right at the heart of Portsmouth. Nice, kind city. Yeah. Good people. Excellent. So, also, we've got our other pillar lead, Kirsty. Hi, Kirsty.
Hello.
So tell us a bit about yourself, Kirsty.
I'm Kirsty Hill. I'm 41 and I'm from Cardiff. I feel like I'm on a dating show. Blind date. Is that still a thing?
That sounds like a blind dating show.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Like an hour long.
Yeah.
So you've obviously got more than one pillar, unlike Marianne. So what do you lead on for us?
So I lead our education and community pillars. So I've been it's actually my 1 year anniversary at Shaping Portsmouth. Yes, the day before yesterday.
Your work anniversary.
Yes, work anniversary. We need to make that more of a thing, I reckon.
Yes,
bonus
definitely.
day. Yeah, so I've been here just over a year. I still keep saying to people when I meet them, I'm the new person. Yeah. I can't use that.
It does
for
feel
much
like
longer.
that, doesn't it? Yeah.
We can't because
you're the new person,
well,
and then
no,
not
because,
even you anymore.
Yeah, Suzanne and Robin have joined after you, so
Yeah.
there's at least three more people since you now. So.
I need to cut that out. Stop saying that when I meet people for the first time. But yeah, I still feel reasonably
I think that's the thing
new.
with Shaping, though,
Yeah.
because I sometimes also feel like new-ish. I know I'm not. I'm the oldest. We've said that on the team, but then sometimes it does feel like it because our programs are so amazing that sometimes like we add stuff to it. Like we continue. What's the word to use?
Evolve.
Now? Exactly. That's
Evolving.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I feel the same, and it's taken me quite a while to fully understand what the programs are and deliver. And there's a lot across the two pillars. So I think after a year, I would probably say I'm only just really feeling established in my role and finding my feet and understanding kind of what my role is, because it's quite varied. But yeah, I'm enjoying it.
So obviously you mentioned you're from Wales, so again, not a
From the
Portsmouth
diff.
girl.
Yeah.
So what was your journey from Wales to Portsmouth like? How did you end up in Portsmouth?
So I grew up in Cardiff in Splot, which was rough but amazing. And when I left school, I went to college for a little bit, and I just didn't feel like I really knew what I wanted to do. So a friend of mine, her partner was in the army, and we went to the careers office one day because that's where he was working, to give him his lunch. And I was sat in the waiting area, and this lady came over and she said, "Have you ever thought about joining the Navy?" And I said, "No." She said, "Do you know anyone in the Navy?" I said, "Yeah, my auntie's was in the Navy. My uncle was a Marine, and my dad was in the Merchant Navy." And she gave me a DVD. I went home, watched the DVD because DVDs were a thing. And I went back the next day and signed up. So I spent the majority of my career based in Portsmouth. And then when I eventually left the Navy, my mum and dad had moved to Portsmouth and my sister had moved here and met her husband. So when I eventually left the Navy, I kind of settled here.
So did they follow you here?
Well, my dad was working in and out of Portsmouth, and we used to come to Portsmouth. I remember when I was little being at the ferry port, and before we would go on the ferry to France, we'd go to the Common and sit and have a picnic. And I remember that vividly as a child, and my mum always loved it here. And the first time I was in Portsmouth and I drove home to Cardiff and then I drove back into Portsmouth, I remember feeling like, actually, this is home.
Feels like home,
Rather than
yes.
going
Yeah.
out was home.
Yes, yes.
And I've always felt like that here. I don't know what it is. I just feel
Same. That's
Yeah.
safe
exactly
and
same.
welcomed here. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know, I can really relate to that because I obviously don't come from Portsmouth originally either. I come from Salisbury, and there was a point where I used to go back home to Salisbury.
It's not
And
home
I don't
anymore.
know when the point was where it switched the other way around,
Yeah.
where I now visit Salisbury and I come back home to Portsmouth. But
Yeah.
there's obviously a point where that happens and it becomes home for you. Cool. So, obviously, you left the Navy, you stayed in Portsmouth, but you didn't join Shaping Portsmouth at that point. You did some other stuff first.
Yep. So when I left the Navy, I went into kind of the world of mental health, and I've done different roles within that industry for a really long time. And then I got to a point where it was becoming a bit heavy, and I wanted to do something a little bit more lighthearted and in the community. So I went to work for Soul at Mind, her mental health charity, whereas I'd worked for the NHS before that. Funnily enough, Soul at Mind are now partnered with Shaping Portsmouth, so there's that affiliation still. But I did that for quite a while and worked in the veterans kind of mental health space. And yeah, I wouldn't say get bored quickly, but I get to a place where maybe I can't progress and then I just want to explore something else. And somebody sent me the advert. It was Duke Harrison Hunter, who used to work at Pompey in the Community. He sent it to my friend Ian, and Ian sent it to me. And I applied for it, and I thought, I'll never get that in a million years. I don't know anything about education, but I know quite a lot about the community, and fake it till you make it. So I applied, and I interviewed and got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Here we are.
Here we are. Last but not least, the other half of the Shaping Portsmouth Welsh contingent.
Hello.
And neither of us have got a Welsh accent anymore.
Well, no,
So
it's gone.
sad.
It's gone. I'm Steff. I'm also from Wales, but I've been here.
Your surname gives it away a bit, doesn't it?
My surname is Jones. Yeah. So I've been here for 25 years in September, give or take the odd break here and there. But yeah, mostly in Portsmouth for 25 years. So I think I can call myself Pompey now.
Mush.
Yeah. So I'm the ops manager. Originally came on as an events lead to basically organise the events. We run, or including ones we co-run with all the other organisations, we run 8 to 9 a year. But we've sort of got 4 main ones and a few other small ones. So that's what I was doing originally, and then we had a little bit of a restructure, and I went for the ops manager job, which still incorporates all the events, but I also help out these 2 ladies with their pillars and sort of oversee the general programme running day to day. So yeah, my background is events, and then my sort of business background was hospitality. Before that, I used to work for in the ops team for the production of a little local festival called Victorious. before doing this.
Another partner of ours.
Another partner of ours, yeah. Great bunch of people. Moved to Shaping Portsmouth a year and a half ago. A little bit less, 15, 16 months.
First? Was it you or Kirsty?
Steff.
I did, yeah. So it's not quite a year and a half, but that's the last year and a half of my 25 years in Portsmouth. But it's great, really enjoy it. It's genuinely, I know people always say this about their jobs, but it's genuinely different day to day.
Yes, it is.
Crazy sometimes, but
we love it.
but yeah, it really is good fun.
Yeah, so I think there's probably nothing like Shaping Portsmouth anywhere else. We're pretty unique, and the programs we deliver are very innovative. So yeah, the one thing you can say about Shaping is every day at work's different. Definitely,
That's the truth.
Yeah. So Marianne, then let's go back to the business pillar.
Okay.
So I mean, we've got, so for people that don't realise that the kind of the structure of Shaping Portsmouth, we've got the three pillars that we work to: the business, the education, and the community. But Shaping Portsmouth itself is a collaboration of key Portsmouth businesses. I think currently there's probably 72 on the list. And our mission is to make Portsmouth the number one UK city in which to invest, live, learn, work and visit. And we do that by leveraging the support of those business partners that we've got to deliver a whole range of innovative programmes. So the business pillar that you've got, that's the obvious one because of the link to business with us as an organisation. Yeah. So right at the top of the pile of the programmes that you kind of lead on for us is Portsmouth Business Support Service. So tell us a little bit about that and what's involved in the business support service for those that don't know.
So that programme is delivered in collaboration with Portsmouth City Council Economic and Solutions Team, Skills, I don't know.
Economic and Regeneration or Economic Development Team?
Yes. And then what we basically do is that the program it aims to support local businesses in Portsmouth, in the city and around the city. We try to help everybody if we can, but the program specifically supports local businesses in the city. So what happens is that when an individual who has a business needs any type of support, they come through the service, and then we basically filter them down and figure out what support that they need, and then we either, if we can help them with that, we help them with that, or then we pass them on to the business who actually can support them with that thing that they're looking for, that support that they need. But what I find that is very special about the Shaping aspect of it is that we have a team of volunteer mentors, business mentors. These are very amazing individuals who run businesses in the city, who are very busy people, but then they still give us time. So they basically give their time to support businesses, to mentor businesses who need support. And I feel like that's the most, for me anyway, that's the most special part of the program. And then recently we've now collaborated with the South Hampshire College Group to also bring workshops as well, so that we can help not just individuals, we can try to help as many businesses in the city as soon as possible, as soon as we can, basically.
The reason Marian's having a trouble remembering that is this is an addition that happened a few days ago.
Literally a few days ago.
So
we announced it in the newsletter that went out on last week Thursday.
South Hampshire College is a collaboration of a number of colleges, including Fareham College, Eastleigh and Southampton. Yeah. So they've rebranded. They are a partner of ours as well, another one of our fabulous partners. But they are not the only one linked to Portsmouth Business Support Service, are they? So you've mentioned the partnership with Portsmouth City Council and the team there, Joe, Kim, Jane the Mayor and the team there. Yeah. And also we have Solent Skills, Jodie, and her team. Yeah. So we've got a number of different routes people can be signposted, and even a combination of different routes. you mentioned our wonderful mentors from mainly from our partner businesses, but you don't need to be a partner mentor.
No, you
partner
don't
business
need
to be a mentor.
No,
do
you do not need to be a partner.
So if someone is a business person in the city listening to this and they think, I could do that, I could help out, I could mentor someone else who's starting their business journey, how do they go about signing up to be a mentor?
Just reach out to me and then I'll walk you through the process.
So the easiest way to do that is via our website,
Yes.
www.shapingportsmouth.co.uk.
And you look for the business page and then our details are there.
Yeah. And I think there's a contact us bit on there. So that's an easy way through. So
Dave, sorry.
Go on.
So we did a shout out to businesses who actually need, who want to support this program. We should also reach out to or say to those businesses who need support to also visit the website and find out details and contact us.
So. And that was going to be my next question. So if you're a business needing support, what are the criteria? What sort of business?
It can be any business. Whoever you are, whatever business you have, and you feel like you need support, just reach out to us. So if you want to visit the website, there's a helpline. There's a number there that you can call, and then there's also a form that you fill the form or call the number, and we will give you the assistance that you need. Yeah.
And it's not just startups, is it?
Any business at any stage,
any size, any stage.
Any stage. Exactly. That's
correct. If you need support, we will see what we can do.
That's correct.
So we've had 104.
104 since January, since we officially launched. 104 through the system.
How many mentors do we have?
About 30-something mentors. I'm not sure in the exact number. 30-something mentors.
I think around the 37 mark, I think.
Yes.
And we've had about 30 people lined up with mentors.
Yes, so far.
So, some good stuff going on. So also in your cohort of programs, we've got our cruise volunteers.
Our cruise program. I love it.
So tell us a bit about that and what it does.
So our cruise program, one of the arms of our cruise program is our meet and greets. This is where we have, again, volunteers. We have so many amazing people in the city who just want to support as much as they can. So we have volunteers who volunteer, and then we go down to the port, the Portsmouth International Port, to meet and greet and welcome passengers who are coming into the city. And basically, so what happens is that the port provides a bus that takes these individuals or these passengers from the port and into the city to explore the city, depending on what they want to do. They ask the cruise volunteers, and then we basically show them what to do and tell them what to do. And we've added a new facet to that, which is the boat taxis, which takes the passengers from the port into the city, but via the white sink. Is that what they call it? Sink?
So the water taxi, does it go to Gunwharf Quays?
Yes, it goes directly to Gunwharf Quays from the international
port.
Yeah, and passengers love it.
Yeah, definitely. And and why not make the most of our great waterfront and use it to transfer people to where they want to go. So our amazing volunteers are out there, come rain, come sun, whatever it is. Vanessa and her team. Short notice sometimes. Short notice. And they're there to support us, to help. They are amazing. We can't do the program without them. They're amazing. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And again, same route via the website. If anyone's interested in becoming a Portsmouth ambassador and working on the cruise passenger, you don't have to speak any other languages, but we're always after people, particularly that speak. We get a lot of German passengers, don't we?
A lot of German ships.
So that anyone that's fluent in German is very, very welcome.
Yeah.
Great ambassadors for our city working in the port. And how many? Just to give people an idea, how many ships? Because we've got cruise ships that come in for like starting and finishing their journeys, but we've got the visiting ships, and they're the ones. The call ships are the ones that the volunteers come out for. How many of them have we got this year?
So this year, I think we have about 70-something. Not quite sure, but about 70-something. But it's more than we had last year and the year before that. So definitely this year has more coal ships that have come into the city.
The port's just getting more and more.
Yes.
Year on year.
And is because it's not just because, but we get a lot of feedback from the passengers who have such an amazing experience with the volunteers and the ambassadors who are there. Just rave.
They are they've got to be some of the hardest working volunteers in the country, I reckon.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And, how great it is to visit a city and have some of the residents there to greet you on your arrival, give you tips, help you find your way around. They do an absolutely amazing job. Another one of your business programs is actually the Armed Forces Community Program, but I can use that to segue nicely over to Kirsty as the resident veteran on the team. So we've spoken about your naval background already. So Armed Forces Community was previously the Armed Forces Covenant Program, which was all about getting businesses to sign up to the Armed Forces Covenant. Yeah. But we've broadened is the word, broadened that program to Armed Forces Community. Why have we done that, Kirsty?
I think as a team, I'm not saying that it wasn't important before I was in the team, but I'm a big advocate for the community. It's something that's important to me as a person in employment, as a person that lives in a big naval city. And talking to Marian about the Armed Forces Covenant Programme, we wanted to expand that. We wanted to support the community across the city and explore ways in which they felt that we could contribute more. And a lot of the businesses that we work with or we're supported by, they also wanted to do more. But it's difficult to know what aspects of the community to tap into. So we just expanded that to support, we want to support families and spouses, serving personnel. So, we came up with the Armed Forces Community Programme.
Very lucky to have Kate and Andy as well.
Yeah, and we've got some amazing lead volunteers. And it was also important to us that we had outsiders like Kate and Andy to come in and give a wider experience from, I'm from a naval background, they're from an army background. And that is just growing and growing. Obviously, it's still hugely important for us that we get people to sign the covenant. Yes. But I think when we explored that, it was kind of becoming a bit of a tick box exercise for people. So we want people to really live and breathe that across the city. And I think that's going to grow and grow and grow.
It's that so what bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've signed the covenant. So
what next?
Yeah.
What are you going to do now?
Yeah, you need to be accountable, and we want people to be consistent in that support and and really give back to the community.
And it's
here.
It's hard not to think about Portsmouth and not think about the Royal Navy.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the Royal Naval's surface fleet is based out of Portsmouth. So actually just limiting what we were focusing on to the veterans section of the services seemed not right. As you say, there are so many different facets to how the Royal Navy and other armed forces, actually, because it's not just the Navy, integrate with our community. And so ironically, you've mentioned Kate and Andy as our volunteer program leads, great naval city, and they're both army background.
Yeah.
So just proves that point that it's not just about the Navy in Portsmouth.
Yeah.
All of the services are represented, but really, really important program, and obviously something we know you're really passionate about because of your background.
Yeah, massive.
So your programs then, and so you've got the two pillars. So education pillar. You've got a number of key programs there, but I think going back to the point we made at the start of the business pillar, which is all of our programs involve that leverage of business support in some way. There's a business link to everything we do. Yeah. So what does that look like in the education pillar?
Again, I suppose, touching on what Marianne said, you wouldn't be able to deliver your programs without your volunteers and the businesses that you work for, your mentors, and it's the same for the education pillar. A lot of the work that we do where we go into schools and we deliver workshops or briefings with businesses is led by the business, but it's also led by the young people. They're asking for opportunities. We speak about wanting to make Portsmouth the best place to live and study and work. well, if the young people of Portsmouth don't know what's available to them across the city, and they maybe don't have, they might not grow up in a family where there is much conversation about employment across the city. So it's exposing them to industries and individuals and businesses that potentially they might not have been exposed to before. So we have the support of our amazing business leaders and people within the businesses that we work for that come into the schools and share their own kind of lived experiences. They talk about their access into that industry. And again, it's showing young people that you can tap into so many different opportunities and industries across the city that you didn't even think were a thing. When I grew up, maybe my generation, I'm a bit older, it was just an expectation that I was going to either work in Marks and Spencer's or I was going to be a GP receptionist, because that's what happened in my family. I didn't really see outside of that. And it was only because I stumbled into an environment that I wasn't expecting is that I stepped away from that into something completely different. So it's just inspiring young people to kind of give it a little bit more thought. But yeah, without those businesses, again, we wouldn't be able to deliver those.
Yeah,
those
absolutely.
programs.
Again, our amazing volunteers, and a lot of those people that help out with that are the very same people that are mentoring on the Portsmouth Business Support Service. So we appreciate that help immensely. So that what you're talking about there is our Explore Your Futures program, which is broken down into those kind of whole classroom workshops or the smaller briefings. And again, for anyone in schools or careers leads that are listening, we can do stuff that's really bespoke to individual schools' needs, can't we? And cater for what they want.
Definitely. And the students love it.
Yeah.
They might come into a session and they've maybe have been forced by their careers lead or their teacher, or some of the kids say, oh, I'm only here because I didn't want to go to maths or I didn't want to do PE today. And by the time they leave the session, we get really amazing feedback because they're like, oh, actually, that's really interesting. We've done sessions with Portsmouth Aviation, Kia Construction, Spinnaker Tower, Mountjoy, all of these amazing businesses. And I love it when we go into a session and something unexpected happens. So particularly, in Portsmouth, we've got a big marine industry. We've got big construction companies. And we get these young girls that come in and sat at the back of the class and I don't care about construction. And by the end of it, they're like, oh my God, I can go and be a project manager, or I can go and do this, or I can lead the HR team, or I can just be the face of this big construction industry. It's exposing young people to opportunities that they didn't think they could tap into. And I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So also linked to the education side, where in fact it's one of the community programs, is the Choose Employability suite of programs, which focuses on homeless, probation ending, youth employment, care leavers, special educational needs. There's a whole range of different things we can do. I know care leavers is quite prominent because recently you organised an event jointly with PCC Employability Academy. So tell us a little bit about what that care leavers program looks like and what we're after from businesses.
So that's a programme that's delivered in partnership with Portsmouth City Council, and the aim is to support care experienced young people into training, education and employment. But it's kind of training businesses to understand that these people have had different experiences. They don't have the resources that another person who hasn't been brought up in care might have.
A family.
A structure, family, access to education. So some of the barriers that were coming up, these young people couldn't read a contract, or they didn't know how to go to an interview. They didn't have the clothing to wear to an interview because they don't have the money to go to a shop and buy a suit. And it can be really simple things that you can fix in an instant, or they can be a bigger piece of work. So to make that piece of work happen, Shaping Portsmouth wanted to take on the responsibility of encouraging the businesses to become care leaver ready, and the council have taken the responsibility to make the young people employment ready. So there's an academy that happens where the young people go through kind of workshops and they learn some of these skills that would, I suppose, support them into that employment process. And again, Shaping Portsmouth has access to so many different organisations across the city who want to give back, who want to be open to this stuff, but they need that support. So that's where we step in, or that's where I step in and kind of bridge that gap slightly. And we want it to, you know, we want businesses to come forward and offer interest, firstly. It's important. And we also want them to engage in the full process, because these young people have got a lot to offer. They want to work, they deserve the opportunity. So if we can just provide them with that. But what we need is businesses to say, that's something I'm interested in learning about. What does that look like? And it's working with the business to see what works for them. But some of the key things that came back from the young people that have kind of got opportunities from the programme is, you know, having a mentor in the workplace, someone that they can talk to about their mental health and well-being, someone that can just guide them for that first part of the process to just make the transition a little bit easier. But it's an amazing programme. The council work really hard on it. So anything that a business could offer, if it's an opportunity, if it's work experience, if it's just come and sit with the team for a day and see what it's like to work a day in the life of, you know, whichever position, that'd be really helpful.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, across all of those choose employability cohorts, not just the care leavers, we're after businesses that would be willing to give people work trials, to have a go, to allow that person to have some experience of the workplace, but also to perhaps allow the business to have some experience of that person and see whether they would be a good fit or not, and just to give it a go. And I think the one thing that all of those cohorts have in common, because they're all very different, the one thing they all have in common is a need for someone to put a reasonable adjustment in place just to give them a chance.
Yeah, and the reality is that all of us in this room, we need reasonable adjustments. You know, I might need adjustments around my mental health and well-being. You might need adjustments around childcare, whatever it is. You know, we're not asking for vast changes in the workplace. It's just about kind of educating organisations that the experiences of these people might be slightly different to their own. And they're just normal people who might just need that little bit more support. So it's important.
So Steff, you're jobs ops manager. You mentioned you were events lead before. You still got the events as part of your ops role.
Yeah.
So what do the Shaping Portsmouth events look like? What do we do each year?
So I think probably the first thing to mention is our two Portsmouth Business Leaders Forums. We do one in the spring and one in the autumn. They usually attract about 100 or so business leaders, and we generally work those around a theme. Moving on from care leavers, our last event we had a big care leavers piece as part of that event. It also includes a short networking period and a general get-together of the great and the good of Portsmouth.
Always some great buffets as well.
Some great buffets.
Always some great buffets.
And it's a really good chance for us to showcase some different conference venues around the city as well.
Absolutely.
So the recent one was actually in Portsmouth Cathedral, which was a fantastic venue.
It was.
Which I missed. I'm sad I missed it.
Yeah, sad that you had to go back home to Nigeria to get married.
Yeah.
So, but a great venue. You missed a treat there, and many people might not realise that the cathedral itself is a fantastic conference venue. But we've had others, haven't we?
Yep. So the Marriott have been very kind. The Queen's Hotel, we haven't done anything there in a while, but we'll be doing something there. Another great team there. Can't do enough for you.
We're looking at Lakeside for our next one.
Lakeside for the next one, yeah. So there's plenty of partners and venues around that really do. You should check out. Really check out the cathedral if you're looking for somewhere. Absolutely brilliant.
Definitely. And the agendas for the Portsmouth Business Leaders Forums, we kind of share some of the time with Portsmouth City Council, and certainly once a year, and the next one being that one, we give them a bigger slice of the agenda to do a kind of a full economic update on the city's economic strategy from their side.
Yep. So the autumn one, you will get a large portion of that going across to the council for the economic update, hopefully delivered by Natalie Brahma Pearl and Steve Pitt, and our very own Jane Lemaire, hopefully.
Shout out Jane Lemaire.
Yeah.
Love Jane Lemaire.
So yeah, that'll be details of that will be coming out soon. I suppose if you're a partner of ours, we also have our partners networking event, which is exclusive to the partners that fund us. We had that in the Spinnaker Tower this year. The first one was last year, and that was in the Mary Rose Museum, which was particularly special. So everyone went on a tour of the museum with a glass of cocktail or wine in their hands, and we had a great buffet there as well.
Again, another venue that people won't realise that you can actually book a conference, a meal, a networking event.
It really does work. It just makes the conversation flow, and there's a bit of an activity to it rather than just turning up and chatting with name badges on. So
and in fact, the Spinnaker Tower was a great venue as well. Actually,
really good.
You've got options there with the upper deck and the ground floor restaurant. And then we're looking to hold our next one at Portsmouth Grammar School, who also can offer solutions to businesses looking for conference venues. So they've got a whole range of different options there, and we're going to make use of the staff common room for our next one, which is a fabulous room.
Yeah. So again, you can get in touch with us on the website if you're looking for venues. We can put you in touch with these people. They really are some fantastic ones out there. So,
and then I suppose we can't really talk about events without mentioning the big one.
Yeah,
the annual conference.
So the annual conference, just started planning for the new one, which will be on the 17th of January 2025. So last year we had in excess of 400 people in attendance. Again, we have a series of themes. We tend to cover our own main pillars at that event. So we'll have a section on business, a section on education, and another section on community. Last year we also had the Portsmouth Youth Cabinet in attendance. They did a nice piece on stage for us. We also have the Shaped by Solent shop, which we haven't touched on yet. That's a program we run with our SEND schools.
I think that one's going to be a podcast in itself.
Yeah,
I think.
so
we'll get a Shaped by Solent podcast in.
There's quite a lot of background to that one. So, but it's basically a project with our SEND schools that allows them to do a bit of product design and a few other bits. But they present that and sell that at the conference.
SEND being special educational needs for those not familiar with the acronyms.
Indeed, should have said that.
This is your first year, your first proper conference.
Yes, that's true.
Leading.
How you feeling about that, Dave?
How do I feel about it? It's kind of so obviously when I researched for the interview for the CEO role, when you start looking online, you get hit with loads of videos of the previous conferences. So I kind of watched it for a while and thought, oh my God, I don't know whether I could do that. But obviously I had 5 minutes to introduce myself on stage at the last one. So I've had a little taster, and we'll think about it. But you all know full well what's going to happen, in that I am going to make sure that everyone gets a stint on stage. So yes, be warned, something different's coming.
I'm going off sick.
So
I'm going to get COVID that week.
As well as our events, Steff, we support other events linked to our partners. So we've got the Victorious Festival just coming up. Depending on when this podcast goes out, it should be just coming up. And we for some of those other events that we get involved with, we can make use of our Portsmouth ambassadors.
We can indeed, Victorious. We use our volunteers to help us man the exhibit there.
What are the Portsmouth ambassadors?
So the Portsmouth ambassadors are a group of volunteers anyone who wants to sign up, there's info on our website. We're kind of in a redevelopment process of the whole ambassadors program at the minute. But it opens up lots of opportunities to you to work, to volunteer, for example, Marian's cruise program. That's great fun. I can't believe how many we get to volunteer for that and how dedicated they are, and they all really enjoy it.
All love it.
It's a great way to make new friends, and we're working on putting on forums and events specifically for anyone signed up to Portsmouth Ambassadors.
The great thing is they're all people who love the city, and they will always promote the city and all the amazing things about the city.
And that's that's the key to it, isn't it? What we're after is people that are just passionate about promoting Portsmouth and the city, which kind of brings me to where I want to finish up and promoting Portsmouth. So for anyone listening to our podcast, what would be your one recommendation? We'll start with you, Marianne.
Just looking at me.
What would be, if you could recommend anything in Portsmouth, something to do, somewhere to go, place to eat, could be anything. What would be the one thing you would recommend to people?
Walking along the seafront. That's me. That's all I love to do. Just walking. The Millennial Walk is really good as well. So we have a lot of passengers from the cruise program actually asking about that, want to go on the walk. So yeah.
So the walks. So we did. Kirsty organised an amazing wellbeing walk which was a business networking event on the move. Yeah. Brilliant idea. And we kind of followed that Millennium Walk chain from the Hot Walls, didn't we, down along the seafront. Our next one is Victoria Park on...
Oh, don't ask me the date. The
23rd
of August.
23rd of August.
9:30 a.m.
9:30 a.m. Victoria Park, if you want to come and join us for a walk.
Don't bring your dogs. No dogs allowed.
But we love doggies
Park's
there.
not dog friendly.
Yeah.
Yes. So seafront is the recommendation from Marianne. Follow the Millennium Walk along the seafront. What about you, Kirsty? What would be for someone who doesn't know Portsmouth, what would be your recommendation?
I'm big on food, and I think actually Portsmouth, particularly Southsea, we've got so many great small restaurants. I particularly like the Briny. On the seafront. Again, on the seafront. Yeah. Next podcast, I'll give you somewhere outside of the city. But I love the Briny, fresh seafood, beautiful views, lovely people, great service.
Another one I discovered was the one where we had the breakfast last week. The team
canteen.
Breakfast, the canteen.
Yeah.
Oh, loved it.
Do like the canteen?
Yeah, love the Briny.
Good for a business coffee.
Yeah,
I've had a few
really
meetins in the canteen, but the Briny, I've never tried the Briny.
Lovely.
I'm going to add that to
if you
my
love
list.
fish and you love... I mean, they do serve other things, but it's
Mm.
just a beautiful atmosphere. Great wine.
Okay, and Steff.
Well, I'm going to go for Old Portsmouth as a whole. I think that area always never fails to cheer me up. The canteen's down there, obviously, but I just think the whole area
just the
is
feeling
lovely.
there
The
as
vibe's
well.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Again, we mentioned the cathedral, such a good venue for a conference event. And just the area generally, the walls there, everything. I love that part of Portsmouth.
Yeah.
What about you, Dave?
What's your favourite?
What about me? So I see now. If I ask this question on every podcast we do, and everyone turns it back round to me, I'm going to end up going through so many places. There is so much in Portsmouth. It's really difficult to pick one place. But do you know what? I'm going to give a shout out to Gunwharf, which will make Yvonne happy, Yvonne Clay happy. I'm going to give Gunwharf a shout out just for a couple of reasons. So I went down and checked out a new restaurant down there this weekend, the Giggling Squid. But they've got this amazing art and putt golf course
I saw
this
that.
week. Last week I was down there for the Clipper race, the end of the Round the World Clipper race, an amazing event. And at the moment, every week there is something different going on at Gunwharf. I'm not big on the shops, but there's just so much going on. I love the tower. I love following so this weekend we followed the Millennium Pathway and walked to the Common for the Battle of Southsea event that was going on on the Commons. We followed the Millennium Walk round. It's a good place to start, and there's lots going on, and I love the New Forest ice cream van particularly. So yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to Gunwharf as a recommendation.
It is good. I
It's
think we're
good.
really spoiled with Gunwharf.
Yeah.
It really is.
I
Very
was there this
So-
weekend to see the new Wolverine and Deadpool movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and a film recommendation. From Marian.
I was there buying shoes at Russell and Bromley.
Okay.
Look, we're shaping a keeping Gunwharf afloat by the sounds of it.
I jumped out the tower the other week.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And in fact, yeah. So the weekend, or in fact, a few weekends before the
Yeah.
Clipper one, I was down there again to watch you. And to be fair, it was more to check whether we still had to pay you or not. But yeah, come out of the Spinnaker Tower, raising over £1,000 for Solent Mind.
Yeah.
So well done, Steff.
Thanks, guys.
And there is a good place to leave our first podcast. So thank you, guys.
Thank
And
you.
hopefully you'll all be hosting podcasts yourselves about your various programs and events, so people will get to hear more from you.
Yay!
Lovely to talk to you all.
Me too.
I'm off to Gunwharf.
This podcast was brought to you by Shaping Portsmouth, working to make Portsmouth the #1 UK city in which to invest, live, learn, work and visit. To find out more, please visit shapingportsmouth.co.uk. This podcast was supported by Spark Community Space.